Dolby Atmos in 2026 is no longer about, does it sound good? It's about whether your walls survive the experience and if your neighbors start Googling local noise ordinances. Soundbars have officially entered their villain arc, and these 5 systems are the ones leading the charge. This list isn't about budget compromises or good enough for a bedroom. This is about full send, cinematic, shake the room Dolby Atmos. The kind that makes you question why you ever thought TV speakers were acceptable. All the links to these soundbars are down in the description, so be sure to check those out for current pricing and availability. Starting at number 5, the LG S95 TR is what happens when LG decides to remind everyone that they actually take audio seriously now. This is a 9.1.5 channel monster that leans heavily into 3D spatial sound, and it shows. The triple upfiring design, including an upfiring center channel, makes dialogue feel like it's locked to the screen instead of floating somewhere near your ceiling fan. The rear speakers are fully wireless, genuinely plug-and-play, and flexible enough to work in real-world rooms instead of the imaginary perfect rectangles companies love to advertise. Add Wow Orchestra and Wowcast into the mix, and if you own an LG TV, the whole system works together like it was designed by people who actually talk to each other at work. Gaming features like VRR and AL-M mean it keeps up at 120 Hz, which is great because nothing ruins immersion faster than audio lag during a boss fight. It's polished, smart, and surprisingly aggressive when pushed. The kind of soundbar that quietly convinces you LG might be cooking something dangerous for the future. At number 4, the Nakamichi Shockwave 11.2.6 is here to remind everyone that Nakamichi doesn't do subtle. This system is wide, loud, unapologetic, and absolutely obsessed with height effects. 6 dedicated height channels isn't marketing fluff here. Overhead sounds actually move, swirl, and land with precision. The punk-killed drivers, backed by ScanSpeak DNA, bring a level of detail that audiophiles will immediately respect, while the massive 54-inch soundbar creates a front soundstage that feels closer to an AVR setup than a traditional soundbar. Dual 10-inch subwoofers make sure bass isn't just loud, but textured, hitting hard when it needs to and backing off when it doesn't. The bipolar surrounds fire sound in ways that feel borderline unfair for movies, especially Atmos mixes that actually use vertical space correctly. This is not a minimal system. It wants space, it wants volume, and it wants your full attention. But if you give it that, it rewards you with one of the most cinematic soundbar experiences available without going fully custom. Number 3 is the Samsung Q990F, the soundbar equivalent of a luxury SUV that somehow still handles like a sports car. Samsung has perfected the do-everything-well approach, and the Q990F proves it. With 11 channels plus rear speakers, a dedicated subwoofer, and 4 upfiring drivers, sound comes from everywhere, including places you didn't realize were part of your ceiling. Wireless Dolby Atmos keeps setup clean, while room calibration uses the built-in mic to adapt the sound specifically to your space instead of assuming you live in a showroom. Dialogue enhancement actually works. Bass hits with authority without drowning out detail, and Q Symphony integration with Samsung TVs makes the entire system feel bigger than it technically is. Add smart assistants, AirPlay 2, Chromecast, and voice control, and you end up with a system that feels effortless to live with. It might not chase extreme numbers like Nakamichi, but as an all-around performer for movies, gaming, sports, and everyday TV, the Q990F is dangerously easy to recommend. At number 2 sits the Sony Bravia Theater Quad, and this one is different. Sony didn't build a traditional soundbar, they built a modular surround experience that focuses on precision rather than brute force. 16 speaker units create an incredibly accurate spatial bubble, and Sony's room mapping tech makes placement surprisingly forgiving. You can put the speakers where your room allows instead of where marketing diagrams demand, and it still works. The result is clean, controlled, cinematic sound that feels very Sony, especially with dialogue clarity and positional accuracy. Add the optional subwoofer and the system gains the weight it needs for action films without losing that refined character. The Bravia Connect app makes control simple, and when paired with a Sony TV, everything feels unified. This system isn't trying to overpower you, it's trying to immerse you. And for viewers who value realism over raw output, it hits exactly where it should. And then there's number 1, the Nakamichi Dragon 11.46. This isn't just a soundbar system, it's a statement. Quad 12-inch subwoofers pushing up to 3,000 watts, bass reaching down to 19 hertz, and enough low-end energy to make actual movie theaters feel insecure. The Dragon doesn't just surround you with sound, it builds a multi-altitude soundscape around your seating position thanks to its perfect height mechanism and adaptive height dispersion. 7 air motion tweeters, Omni-Motion reference surrounds, and a massive 58-inch main unit recreate a soundstage that feels closer to a high-end AVR setup than anything labeled soundbar. Dolby Atmos support scales up to insane channel counts. DTS:X Pro gets treated with equal respect, and everything is controlled via app, remote, or on-screen display like a proper theater system. This is not casual. This is endgame. This is the system you buy when you've decided peace was overrated and cinema belongs in your living room. The truth is, Dolby Atmos soundbars in 2026 are no longer compromises. They're choices. Each system on this list targets a different kind of listener, room, and lifestyle. Whether you want refinement, raw power, ecosystem integration, or full-blown cinematic insanity. No matter which one you choose, one thing is guaranteed. Once you hear real Atmos done right, there's no going back. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like, subscribe, and let me know which one you'd put in your living room, and whether your neighbors would survive it.